Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Make Your Mark podcast. And oh boy, am I super excited for this episode. We have Steve Sipress coming on talking about one of his programs, his signature programs for small business owners. And oh my goodness, I have been following Steve Sipress for so long. He knows so much about business, been around doing business, helping people out all over the world, and has so many golden nuggets and value to bring to every single one of us today. So please welcome to the stage, Steve Sipress. Steve, I am super excited for you to be here today.
Well, thank you, Kay. I am totally excited to be here as well. And now I'm even more excited because I got to live up to that introduction.
Oh, you do live up to that introduction,
Who
Steve.
is that? I got to meet that guy. Who is that guy?
Oh my goodness. Steve, you have been around in the business world for so long. You've seen so many changes. You've gone through, your own journey of ups and downs. And in fact, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I would love for you to share with the audience some of your experiences, some of the ups, some of the downs that you have experienced yourself whilst being in the business world.
Oh, I have definitely had the ups and I've definitely had the downs. As anyone who owns their own business knows, that's what we bought into. That's the game we're playing. Especially now I see with social media. So
Yes.
much of people posting, their best lives. And when it comes to business owners or entrepreneurs, that could be kind of depressing to business owners who we understand there's going to be ups and downs, but we don't see any downs pretty much on social media.
Right.
And so, especially, with the 3 years, at least here in the US, with the shutdowns, like there wasn't a lot of anything but social media to contact
Yeah.
people and get with them. And all you see are the stories of the ups pretty much.
Yeah.
Hey, I got new clients. Hey, this is happening. Hey, that's happening. And and I had a mentor years ago who has a saying, the entrepreneur is the loneliest person on earth. We really need
Uh,
someone we can hang out with and talk to, because when things are going fantastic, who can you tell? You can't really tell your customers. They're going to say, well, you should lower the price then if you're making all that money. Or you can't, if you tell your spouse, oh great, I'm going on a shopping trip. Or if you tell your suppliers, they'll raise the price, you're doing so great or whatever. And then if you're doing lousy, well, same thing. You certainly can't tell your customers. They might even leave thinking, you're not going to be around much longer. You can't tell your suppliers, they'll cut you off. Can't tell your
right.
spouse, you cause all kinds of stress in the house. So we really need to hang together. And that's why I'm glad to be here with you and with your audience. And to answer your question, I found out later, I realized that my entrepreneurial education started when I was a kid, because my dad was a salesperson, which is an extremely entrepreneurial type of position when you're on commission and you got to set your own
Right.
goals and your own hours and
Yes.
you make your own living. And then he transformed out of that when he made a lot of money in sales. And, typical story of a salesperson, the company wouldn't evolve, wouldn't listen to him, wouldn't make necessary changes. He went out on his own and bought a few different businesses and was involved in being an entrepreneur. So very early on, I
Mm.
saw the life of my dad. I saw the ups and downs. I saw the time off and the free schedule and the enjoyment of what he was doing and the excitement of always something new happening. But I also saw the downside, the stress, the risk, the problems that come from that inside the home, outside the home. And then my mom was a school teacher. So pretty much opposites right there. She's got a secure government job in a public school, making almost no money, but loving what she's doing. But she's always complaining about, oh, the budget didn't pass, they're cutting our pay and their benefits and what. And my dad, on the complete opposite end of things, are like, you
Mhm.
make your own benefits, you make your own pay, you make your own hours. And so I got that combination of
Yeah.
the entrepreneur and the teacher, pretty much became me. And I've been
Right.
teaching entrepreneurs and business
Yeah.
owners how to grow their business and make money pretty much, well, I started my first business. Uh, as a kid, I did a lot of entrepreneurial things, like I'm sure a lot of your listeners did, and possibly you did. I used to ride around on my bike and fish glass bottles out of garbage cans, because we found out we could return those for a nickel back in the day, or maybe it was a penny. I
Wow.
think it was a penny. was like a penny or 2 cents for a bigger bottle back in the day. And I'd fill up the bicycle basket with dirty bottles and we clean them and bring them in and get 30 cents. And like, man, 30 cents. Let's buy a few packs of baseball cards or whatever we wanted to do. I experienced that freedom of not having to ask for an allowance or depend on, grandma to give you the $5 on your birthday once a year. Like, you want money? Go out and get it. There's money out there.
Right.
Go mow a lawn, go get the glass bottles, go, I answer the classified ad in the back of the magazine, sell greeting cards or seeds door to door, and you can win a bicycle and all that. And I was like, that's an opportunity. Let's do it. So I was always
Right.
opportunity minded, and my parents, thankfully, always encouraged me. Do what you want to do. They probably loved the fact of the independence because now they didn't have to, watch me all day or worry if I was doing it. I was always out doing something. So I had the bug early on, but
Yeah.
then I went to way too much school. So I always got really good grades in high school, went to a good college. Then I got really good grades in college. And my best friend from high school got a high score on the law school aptitude admissions test, whatever it's called. And I said, well, I can do that. So I took that test and I also got a 99th percentile on it. And I said, well, I guess I should go to law school now. So lesson number one for anyone out there who has kids or is thinking of going to school or graduate school, like, that's not a good reason. Okay? It's not like, oh, I guess I should go. Like, go if it's really what you're really passionate about doing, which I was not. So I went to law school and wasn't excited about being a lawyer or even studying law or depriving myself of life for 3 years. Like so many other people in my class are studying all the time and trying to get into the top firm. I didn't love any of that. So I was always working and doing things and just half-assing the school and barely getting by and going to,
Right.
had to go to class or had to take a test. Well, I started a hobby in my last year of law school because I said my friends we're about to break up and go our separate ways in life.
Right.
Friends I had in college, friends I had in law school. So I started a game that would keep us all together. And this was based on a separate game I had invented back when I was in school. I said, but in a nutshell, I came up with, say, and it was the start of the school year, so that started basketball season here in the US. And I said, let's all get together one day and we'll look at all the players in the NBA and we'll go around the room and we'll all pick a player and we'll all form our own teams. And then we will play against each other with these supposed fake teams of like, I've got a forward from here and a center from here and a guard from over there to give us a reason to watch the games. But then we can call each other and make a trade. And we can call each other and trash talk that my team beat yours. And I'll do a newsletter and I'll keep the stats. And let's do this thing. So I got 7 of my friends and we went and started this thing. Long story short, a few months later, one of the guys in my league came to me with a little ad, classified ad in a little obscure sports magazine, and said, there's people doing this game for a living as a business. It's called fantasy sports. And it's a thing. And I was like, what? Never heard of that.
Right.
But I looked into it and I sent for the brochures of these teams, and he had also. And he said, man, your game is so much better than theirs. Your newsletter is better than theirs. You ought to go for it. And I said, you know what? I'll go for it. And so in my final year of law school, I turned that hobby into a business. And I think now everyone knows what fantasy sports is, fantasy football. But back then, nobody did. So it was a lot of fun being a pioneer in this industry. I found there were other pioneers. We had all kind of invented similar games around the same time. There was no internet back then, so we didn't know what others were doing. And it was so labor intensive that we were keeping all the stats. I was doing them all by hand until I got a friend to program a computer, but I was still making copies of newsletters on copiers, stuffing them in envelopes, putting on the stamp, mailing them out all over the country, all over the world. That's how things work. You waited a few days to get the results and see if your team won and see what your lineup's going to be. And you had to call me up on the phone and say, there's my lineup. And me and my guys, eventually, as I hired a team, put together all the lineups and entered them in the computer. Like, this is a crazy kind of thing. But I started that when I was my final year in law school. About 3 years later, I got an offer of a valuation of almost about $3.8 million for the company. So almost right away, it was a multi-million-dollar success. I never looked back. I never thought of being a lawyer or working for anybody or anything like that. I just never even thought about it. I loved this life. I was doing what I loved.
Yeah,
I turned my hobby into a business. I was making a lot of money. I was having a great lifestyle, and I was hooked. I was an entrepreneur.
absolutely. Oh my God. And do you know what's so funny? That you went to law school, and I studied law as well in university, right? And I absolutely hated it. Like the first 2 to 3 months of it, and it was a 3-year course. I was like, I hate this, I hate this. But can I tell you
What'd
a
you hate about it?
well, can I tell you the secret and how I applied to study law to begin with? Because again, that was not the idea that
Was
I
it as
initially
dumb as
had.
mine?
It might be worse.
Oh,
Right. So in the UK, like you have your high school, then you go to college, and then you go to university, right?
yeah,
And
same
so,
here.
yeah, okay. So I was in college and I knew I wanted to go uni, but I still hadn't figured out what the hell I wanted to do. No idea. And Steve, I literally went into the college computers, had all the courses up on the screen, closed my eyes, and whatever my finger landed on is what I applied for.
That is worse.
And it happened to be law and criminology.
Well, see, you were an entrepreneur. You didn't even know it. That was the same as me. I didn't declare a major in college until they absolutely made me. They threatened to throw me out of the school. I was at the end of junior year. They were like, now you have to declare a major. You have to. I was like, but I don't know what I want. I don't care about it. I have no
Right.
particular thing I want to study. Like,
Right.
what am I even doing? I had bought into the whole nonsense of like, go to school, get
Yeah.
good grades, go to advanced school, get a good
Mhm.
career, move, do what I was like, yeah, but I didn't want any of that. I didn't
Right.
want to do that. So entrepreneur, I think, and maybe from a little bit what I told early on the stories, I think entrepreneurs, we can all relate. We're entrepreneurs. Here in the US, less than 10% of people own their own business. 90% of people work for us. They depend on us. They need
Right.
us. They are not
Yep.
willing to take the risk. They're not willing to go out there and give first. An employee is the opposite. The entrepreneur wakes up every morning saying, what value can I give to the marketplace so I
Yeah.
can get money in return? Well,
Mhm.
the employee is the complete opposite. If you ever interviewed them, what do they ask? They come in and, hey, do you have any questions? Oh, what questions they ask? Do they ask, what value can I give that I can grow? No. They go, what's the pay? What's the benefits? What's the
Yes.
time off? How little do I have to do? How little do I have to work? How much can I tell you I really want this job? And then within 1 week, I'm already at the water cooler complaining about you, complaining about the company. I hate my job. I hate my whatever. Like, that's 90% of people. They need
Yeah.
us because we're the ones that have a dream, have a vision, and go
Yeah.
do something about it. And
Absolutely.
we're not looking to plug into the system and the rat race and the slave mentality of, oh, tell me what to do, when to do it, tell me how much I can make. Like, we need to break out of that. So, we both did it, by realizing law wasn't the way to go. I realized that formal education
Mm.
wasn't for me, and yet I did go to 3 more years of law school. What the heck? Another mistake I made was saying, well, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit.
Yeah.
Don't quit. Winners don't quit. Well, that's
Mhm.
enough. Talk about it. You want to hear a nugget? Winners quit all the time. Quitting is fantastic. Quitting is one of the smartest, best things you can do if you quit properly. Everyone quits. And I'm not just talking about quit smoking or quit drinking or quit
Right.
eating junk food, or so. I'm talking about quitting properly,
Well,
right?
what does
So
that mean?
entrepreneurs, opportunities come up all the time. Like,
Yeah.
if it's not working, do you sit there and go like, well, that line, let's say I have a clothing store and, that line of menswear just not selling at all. Well, don't quit, keep buying it and keep putting it out on the show. What are you talking about? Quit that and do something else.
Yes. Okay.
Testing. You always want to test. We call it, see,
Yeah.
we don't call it failing. We call it testing. As an entrepreneur, we always want to test. I got a new idea. What do
Yes.
people think? Well, don't just ask people on social media. And by definitely don't ask, like I just said, your employees or your spouse or it. That's ask the marketplace. Just offer it. Put it out there.
Mm.
Test. If it doesn't work, you know what? You don't sell it anymore. I've hosted events It's kind of the main thing I'm known for and what I've done. I've hosted over 600 events for business owners and
Wow.
entrepreneurs over the years. And I have uh, offered to host even more than that. That just didn't happen because not enough people signed up. I said, I'm doing this event. Here it is. It's on this day. Go to the website, sign up, pay the fee, do this. I booked everything, whatever. And then,
Right.
not enough response. Time to quit. Not let's
Yeah.
keep going with an event that people don't want. Let's just give the money
Right.
back to the people. I'm sorry, or you can put it towards this. I'll give you, half price towards the next one of this different thing I'm doing. But you always want to be testing something new. As entrepreneurs, we can't be afraid to test. That's who we are. We're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
always got to try something new. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA. We've always got to be trying something new.
Absolutely. And it's so funny that you say that because I find that that's what I was doing most of my 20s. I was like, okay, I was a hairdresser, I did sign language, like I
We
walked
have a
in
lot in
retail,
common because I had hair in my 20s. There you go.
like did so many things because I just got bored. I was like, okay, I know how to do this. What's next? I've learned
Congratulations, you're an entrepreneur.
everything. Right, but then and everything that I did, right, was something completely different to what I did before, right? And people are always saying, "You're living in a different world. Like no one's gonna hire you. You got no experience. You got no qualifications." And I'm like, "Watch me." And then eventually, when I decided that I wanted to go down the entrepreneurial route, and I had law and I was a police officer for a little while. Like I was like, I want to do events, right? I want to do events, and they were like, "No, it's not gonna happen." I was like, I want to do events and I'm going to be global. Guess what? The minute I decided to quit, right, all of a sudden these opportunities came my way to start doing events. And I learned on the job, right? No experience, no qualifications, how to run events, and then became a number one closer in a company,
Good for
right?
you. That's how you do it.
Right. And the thing is, people still to this day, people are like, I don't know how you did this, but your life is like a movie. But no, your life is what you make it to be.
Well, that's the 90% saying that. Successful people will never say that.
Ah, interesting.
Successful
Interesting.
people will never steal your dreams. They'll celebrate them. It's the
Yes.
90% that will, because misery loves company, even though they don't know they're miserable. They
Right.
don't want you to do what you love and to have your dreams come true and to have a fun, great lifestyle and be your own boss. They want you to oh, that'll never work. Be careful. They don't say it out of it's not because they don't like you. They think that's what's best for you. They don't want you to have the risk.
Right.
Makes sense.
But
It's similar to like, go to amusement park and your parents will put you on a roller coaster going upside down 100 miles an hour around the turn way up in the air.
yes.
But they certainly won't tell you to drive like that on the road.
No, right.
Makes sense. So they want the excitement and the safety. Well, real life you don't
Mm,
often get both the
yes.
excitement and the safety like a roller coaster.
Absolutely.
We're actually in the car on the road. Your listeners, your viewers might not be familiar with the name Ned Hallowell, but they should check him out. He's one of the world's top experts on ADD or ADHD or whatever they want to call it. He
Right.
calls it the entrepreneur gene. We all have ADD.
Yes.
Like you just described, my phone. See, when you have effective advertising and marketing, the phone's always ringing off the hook. I forgot to put it on the pause, on the silent. But Ned Hallowell tells us celebrate your ADD. But here's the thing: ADD, he says, is like having a super fast Ferrari race car.
Right.
That's us. We can go a million miles an hour, all different projects. You can do all kinds of things. We're full of energy. He says the thing is, we got to learn when to put on the brakes.
Yes.
Because when that Ferrari goes around a turn, we can't be going 150 miles an hour around the
Right.
turn. We got to downshift and put on the brakes. But when the entrepreneur can learn when another phone goes on, when
You are popular, Steve.
when the entrepreneur can learn when to put on the brakes going around the turns, and you can learn that through years of trial and error on your own. You can have a good mentor or a coach to guide you along the way. Like I made every mistake in the world, and I always say the benefit is I can see them coming and I can help my clients. Hey, it's time to slow down. There's a turn up ahead. I know you're growing like crazy and things are happening here, but I see a couple of holes in the business here. Be
Right.
careful. There's a pothole coming up. We got to slow it down a little. And the entrepreneur, you, me, all the entrepreneurs, No, I want to do something new. I want to do something exciting. I want to go fast. I want to do lots of different things.
Yeah,
90% of the world won't do that.
right.
They'll just say, I'm going to drive in the middle lane, or, oh, my excitement is I get in the left lane and I go a little over the speed limit. Like, but they're not driving a Ferrari
No.
150 miles an hour or 200 clicks in London or whatever's going on, and then a turn is coming up on the road. That's our life. That's the life of the entrepreneur. So instead of,
Yeah,
say, ADD, which they give, I'm so glad they hadn't diagnosed that when I was a kid, because they would have drugged me up, and
right.
I was sent to the principal's office all the time for being a troublemaker because I was so bored in
Right.
school. I
Yes.
would finish everything early and then, shoot things at somebody or do the whatever. That's it. My mom was a school teacher, right? Oh, she used to, oh man, what the teacher's line, you make my life miserable. That's all I hear about, what a troublemaker you are. Now I go, yeah, but I get straight A's. So they had the back in my day as a kid, can anyone relate to this? They had a scorecard, what do they call it? The whatever. See, I don't even remember what it's called in school. The report card.
Report card, right.
And you would get the grades in each. Well, they had two grades. They had one for the grade, and then they had one for the attitude in my school for some reason.
Right.
And so it was A's were, A, B, C, D, F, and then the attitude was OSU. OSU. It was outstanding, satisfactory, unsatisfactory. So you got two grades. Well, the principal told me, and my mom told me, that I was the first student, the only student they ever had, who had straight AU on the report card. I'm
No
like,
way.
how is that possible? How can I have an unsatisfactory attitude if I get 100 on every test?
Right.
Because you're a troublemaker, because you get thrown out of class every day, because you're bored out of your mind. Like, I had AU. They're like, we never heard of such a thing. But like, the teachers all can't deal with you. They get that.
Wow.
Congratulate. If that's you or you have kids like that, celebrate that. Don't tamp it
Mm.
down. Tamp it down to learn from Ned Hallowell. Know when to put the brakes on. But like, I don't know other than see it in the movies or on TV shows. But the wild horse, you want to break that wild stallion, but you don't want to take the wildness completely out of it,
Yeah.
or it's not going to win the race. You
Right.
just want it to let you sit on it and then go wild running. But you don't, as an entrepreneur, we don't want to be broken into completely going and saying, I give up. I'm going to be a 9 to 5 worker and make somebody else's dream come true. I'm going to let them come in at noon and work 2, 3 days a week and make money off of my work. No, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to not be a completely wild stallion off being craziness that I, destroy my life and too much risk and too much craziness. But I'm also not going to have too much certainty and security that I give up on all that opportunity and all that excitement. That's what being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, that's what I've learned, is really all about. And I've learned it, like you said, through, man, that first company, by the way, within 3 years, had an offer of 1.75 million for 45% of the company. That's a $3.88 million valuation.
Wow.
Well, 4 years later, screwed the whole thing up, went to zero, lost
No.
everything, became homeless. Like, you want highs, you want lows, and I could go on from there. But high, low, high, low, high, low, we wouldn't trade it for just consistently just above low, being mediocre, being
Mm.
pretty good. We just can't do it.
Wow. Oh my goodness, Steve, like there's so much stuff that you've learned, which is why I know that people come to you to avoid, right, the mistakes, to actually learn from you as to what they should be doing, how they should be putting their business into place, so it saves them time and money, so they all learn from you. Now, you were telling me
Well,
about
we've all heard the saying that it's best to learn from experience, right? But
yes.
then we didn't hear the addition to that saying, which is, but it's really best to learn from others' experience. We know
Mm,
that intuitively. So every time I say it to anyone, the light bulbs go, they go, yeah, you're right. Like, learn from experience, but not your own, because then you do what I did. Then you go bankrupt and then you screw another one up. How about get a great mentor, someone who's been where you want to be, and
absolutely.
let that person teach you and guide you and help alert you to what the pitfalls are up ahead, so you can learn from someone else's experience. Now that's the best way to
Yes.
learn.
Do you know what my secret is? What I do?
Yes, I do.
So I have so many people around me that said to me, everyone around you is old. Like you don't know anybody your age. I'm like, no, because I get to cheat my way through life, right?
Exactly. Exactly. To bring it back to school again, like what was if the teacher wasn't looking, the way to pass every test is to sit behind the smartest girl in the class and just peek over her shoulder at all the answers. Of course, I got thrown out doing that, Eddie. Like, or no, I was letting that's another you. I would get the 100 on the test, but for letting the guy cheat off from behind me, oh, that's a you. You're thrown out. You're unsatisfactory. I'm like, look, real life. Here's a secret. People don't realize it. Real life is an open book test. So
Yes.
that's one reason that formal schooling is full of crap. And I always say never confuse schooling with education,
Right.
because schooling just doesn't get it. This open book, this memorized, that's not, especially now. I mean, everyone's got the whole compendium of the all-time world knowledge in their pocket, in their hand at all times. I'm going to memorize nothing. I got to know what questions to ask. I got to
Yeah.
know what information to look for. I got to be able to synthesize facts into something useful. None of that is what they teach you in regular school, which is memorized with the date of this and who did that and who was the third president. Who was the third president? I'm not going on a TV show. I'll tell you who's the third president. Boom, there it is. Like, I don't have to know the formulas or the names I got to learn
No.
how to think and how to apply things. So formal schooling with its closed book test, not the real world. Don't get caught up in that. Don't let your kids get caught up in that and what those grades are. Get involved with them, or get teachers and mentors to get involved with them, just like you want to get mentors for yourself to synthesize things. Ask enough questions to get the general idea of what's going on, and then learn how to synthesize things. Think about a simple game like chess. I mean, it's very simple. There's only, I don't know, 8 or 10 different pieces. They all move one space pretty much, or a different direction. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
However, that's like only the most geniuses in the world become the chess champion. It's like the most complex mishmash of what's going on. That's how
Right.
being an entrepreneur is. That's actually being a human being is. It's
Yeah.
navigating, keeping things simple enough so then you can simplify everything that you need to know, the facts, so you can then make your living by synthesizing the facts, by generating strategy from the facts. So that's why my program, the WOW Strategy Small Business Success Program, is
Right.
all about keeping things very simple when it comes to advertising and marketing. That's why the word WOW, it's just 3 letters, because
Yes.
I learned over the years that all of successful advertising and marketing comes down to just 3 letters, WOW. And I'll share them real quick. The first W stands for the who. That's who
Okay.
you would like to work with, who you want to be your customer, your patient, your member, your client, whatever it is to you. Who is that person? How do they feel about you in particular, about your industry? What do they like? What do they not like? Who is that person? That's the number one thing you got to know. And from that, you can put together the next letter in the WOW strategy, which is O, which stands for the irresistible offer that you make to them
Right.
to
Yeah.
become a customer, member, patient, client of yours, because you know what they want. You know what they don't want. You can offer it to them, and to them, that'll be they'll like, what? Were you sleeping under my bed last night where I was having a conversation? Like, that's exactly what I want and exactly what I don't want in your type of business. I'm in. And then you get to the last W, which is simply the ways that you're going to use to get your irresistible offer in front of your ideal target who. That's it.
Right.
It could be all the different ways. It could be a Facebook ad, could be doing a podcast, could be going out speaking in person somewhere, it could be writing an email, mailing a letter, a postcard. It could be there's thousands of ways. There's more coming up all the time. The
Right.
big problem, most people start with the ways.
Mm.
So they put the wow word, you can spell it backwards or forward, and they start with it backwards. And they start with the ways, and they come to me and they go, Steve, I want to do Facebook ads. Help me do a Facebook ad. I'm like, whoa, hang on.
Right.
Who are you looking to attract?
Mm.
Maybe they don't want to be attracted with Facebook ads. Maybe that's not the best way to find them.
Right.
Right? Oh,
Yes.
I want to do direct mail. Well, who are you looking to attract? Maybe you're looking to attract, you have a pizza place across the school from a high school. And
Mm.
you want at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when school breaks, you want all the kids to come running in for pizzas and hang out. Like, direct mail might not be the right way to go. Right there, you might want to do some kind of app and text messaging and advertise on TikTok. And it depends. People ask me, like, what's your favorite way to advertise? I'm like, I'm totally agnostic. The ways
Yeah.
don't depend on me. That's a big mistake entrepreneurs make. We start with the ways. We go, I want to do this. Big mistake. What is your target? Who wants?
Yes,
What do they want?
absolutely.
That's where you start. So that's it. But that's it. See, WOW. So I want everyone out there to examine your advertising and marketing right now. If it's not working spectacularly, awesomely, perfectly the way you want it to be, it's because you are deficient, you are missing in one or two or all three of those areas, and that's it. You get all three of those areas working properly, and you have effective advertising and marketing, and you're off to the races. So over the years, I've been flim-flam, I don't know flim-flam, but I bought so many books and courses and programs and events from the gurus. And it's always, I don't blame them because it's their business model, but it's always, now here's my next program on my newest this, and you
Yeah.
gotta, oh, you gotta learn. No, you don't. I was like, no, it can't be. And I just simplified the whole darn thing down to just those three letters. WOW. That's all you got to
Mm.
do. Now it's simple. It's not incredibly easy. It's like chess. It's simple.
Right.
Those are the moves. But now you can get as complex and strategic as you want with the WOW strategy. But it's simple. When you see the gurus selling you another program, another program, another program, that's when, and I'll drop my final big nugget on you. That's when I say it's time to get on the right side of the cash register. For anyone out there that is in the buying mode, like I once was, buying another program, buying another course, buying another this, going to another whatever, looking for the next, flip that around, get on that other side of the cash register. It's time to get people to pay you for what you
Yes.
know and how you can help them and what you can do. So you always
Right.
want to be learning. You never want to completely stop learning and buying. But man, it's time to get on the right side of the cash register. Right now, anyone watching this knows enough about something to have other people pay the money for it. Okay, I guess one more golden nugget saying I'm known for is what you take for granted,
Mhm.
others will pay you money for. So just think about something that you love to do, you're great at it. Oh, people won't pay for that. Yes, they will, because other people are
Mm.
smart and they want the shortcut, like we talked about earlier. They don't want to learn it all on their own for years.
Right.
They want to
Mhm.
pay you to learn it that much quicker.
Yeah.
And that's, the world is going there. As people talk about a 4-day work week, and then it'll go to a 3-day work week, and then the robots are going to take over everything. We'll have to have universal pay. There's going to be less work time and more free time, and more time for people to say, what do I want to do? Do I want to play the piano? Do I want to
Right.
teach my dog how to sit? Do I want to play a sport? Do I want to play an instrument? Do I want to get better at whatever? They're going to want coaches, mentors. The world is your oyster. Whatever you know, it's time to get on the right side of the cash register and start getting other people to pay you for that knowledge, that experience, that guidance. Then the world is your oyster. You're doing what you love, you're helping a lot of people, and you're making good money.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. That Steve, you have blown my mind away on so many different things. You said so many different tactics, strategies are all freaking amazing. Oh my goodness. Now, I know, Steve, at this point, people are probably thinking, how do I get hold of Steve? Right? How can I connect with him? So, where can people go to reach out to you to learn more about you or even work with you?
Well, they can search for me on social media. Since I have a strange spelling my name, if you see it on the screen, that's
Mhm.
my name on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. I even have an Instagram account that I've never done anything with, or a Pinterest or something. Like, you can find me on any social media platform. You can go to stevesipress.com. You can email me at steve@stevesipress.com. And if you want to get on my calendar and have a quick talk,
Mhm.
I almost undoubtedly won't sell you anything because I take on very few clients at this point in my career, but you can go to helpfromsteve.com and we do a quick 15-minute phone call, and at least I point you in the right direction. So those are a bunch of different ways to get a hold of me if you want.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. And guys, all the links that Steve has mentioned will be in the show notes. Go ahead, reach out to him, go and find out what else he's doing, how he's helped so many other people. Like, I encourage you to have a conversation with Steve because he can help you with your business. Steve, do you have any last words for our audience today?
Yes, if you're an entrepreneur, I love you. I love entrepreneurs. We need more entrepreneurs. I love what you're doing. I love the passion you have. I don't want you to lose that. I
Mm.
don't want you to get depressed and take too much risk that you blow a tire and blow yourself out on the road. Please reach out, helpfromsteve.com. At this point in my career, that's my way of giving back. It's not a sale. It's 15 minutes, right? I'm not giving you a sales pitch. I'm not going to try and get money out of you. I want to try and help you out. Go to helpfromsteve.com.
Amazing. So, thank you so much, Steve. So many golden nuggets in such a short amount of time. Oh my goodness. Thanks for
And we're
coming
just
on.
getting started.
Yeah, that's right. We are. Oh my goodness. Thanks once again for coming onto the show and just being completely open and vulnerable and just saying it how it is. Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.